Happy Hump Day and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devil Show, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, even leave a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Anthony Totri, joined on this Hump Day by Shaun DePaz, Shane Diefenbach.
Yes,
Happy Hump Day, guys.
Hump Day.
Totri, guess what day it is?
What day is it, Shaun? What day is it, Shaun?
Guess what day it is?
Hump Day. Bro, Geico went crazy with those commercials.
Geico had some of the best commercials.
Yeah,
That
for
was a
like,
caveman.
The pig.
Yeah.
For like 6 years, and then they just stopped. Yeah,
That was
a
awesome.
great commercial.
Those commercials did go stupid.
That was, to this day, that is my dad's favorite commercial.
I would say that's a goated commercial, but it's a
Pig
Pigged?
commercial.
Pig?
Pigged.
it's a pig commercial.
It's a
It's a pig
piglet
commercial. I like
Piglet
the cave.
commercial.
It's so easy a caveman can do it. And they
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah. Those were
Hurt.
good. Yeah, did they have the best? Jake from State Farm, though, from like the State Farm commercials.
Yeah.
Those
Those
commercials are
insurance,
also
like
those
best
hard.
insurance commercials.
I mean, I feel like
Flo's got
Geico.
consistency.
Yeah.
She's
That's
been
true.
Just
She's
flowing.
pumping out content.
She
Yeah.
has been pumping out.
And the John
content
Hamm
like crazy.
commercials recently have been money. I also do like Progressive's turning into your parents commercials.
Yeah.
Those ones are great.
The Little Caesars ones lately with the
Oh,
pizza
my favorite
pizza.
insurance
Yeah,
company.
yeah.
and well, I know,
I
but
know.
My favorite insurance is Little Caesars.
when he's like pizza, Matt Stafford,
Yeah.
that's a great one.
Honestly, they probably have better insurance than they do pizza.
Yeah.
You need insurance to eat their pizza, dude.
Fuck you, Little Caesars.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
pizza's not bad when you don't got a Shaun in your ear telling you it sucks.
No, it is. It's bad.
Yeah. it's
Wait,
not
you,
good.
you like Little Caesars pizza?
No, it's a joke.
I mean, if you can get
Johnny does.
Yeah,
because he has what
Flat
Little
Earther.
Caesars and nothing else in
Yeah.
Maricopa.
Yeah. The Chili's is on the way, but it's been on the way for a while.
Chili's goes hard.
Chili's does go hard.
You know what else goes hard?
Blue and onion. Don't give me that face, Lindsay. Off face. Chili's. I'm too good for Chili's.
Are you too good for
I'm wearing
Chili's?
a beanie.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
respect. I can respect that. I don't know if I agree, but I can
I don't
respect
know
it.
if I agree.
I agree.
I think Chili's is better food. Applebee's is better.
Chili's has the single
alcoholic
best-
beverages.
Can we both agree that both are way too overpriced, though? What are we
Yeah.
doing?
I can't remember the last time I've been to either.
Really?
Yeah, I was a Fridays kid growing up because my mom worked at one, so I lived in Fridays.
I think I've been there once.
Fridays.
It's
Yeah.
pretty
They had
good.
tremendous mozzarella sticks.
Yeah.
They had a Jack Daniel's like burger. Shit went crazy, and their clam chowder hit, and their artichoke dip. Back when they had like the red and black
When
chips.
does, if you
Stupid.
mess up artichoke dip, you have a problem.
Yeah, that's true.
I wouldn't even know where to start with that, to be honest with you.
I don't know how to make it, but
But it just feels like an easy thing.
every single one I've had is good.
And they all taste the same.
Yep.
Yeah. They got
Except
some
actually, I've had that artichoke dip when it's too cheesy, too parmesan-y.
I don't know if there's a such thing.
There is.
It's too cheesy.
Yeah.
It's definitely too cheesy.
I
If you have
woke up feeling
lactose.
the cheesiest coach. That's the best commercial ever.
Which one?
Best commercial ever.
Not the best commercial ever. The
That's
cheese,
a great
the cheesy
campaign, though.
commercial. I woke up feeling the cheesiest. The cheese wheels.
Yeah, that was a
Talking
good
cheese wheels.
Well, we're a couple
We're good
minutes
to get,
in.
We're good to get in.
I was going to say, we're a couple minutes in. Let's talk about ASU football, why don't we? So they obviously had practice this morning, and practice looked a little different, as it has over the course of the last couple weeks. However, today's practice didn't necessarily have to do with the crazy intensity or the change of pace, guys getting kicked out of practice because they're late. Instead, today was more about the fact that there was 50-plus high school recruits, local kids that are at Arizona high schools. A handful, obviously, from Chandler, where Aguano was formerly the head coach, including Shaun. You brought it up off camera, but the number one quarterback in the nation who is an Ohio State football commit.
Flip them.
Yeah. Okay. That'd be a
Let's
little
go,
bit of a
baby.
stretch.
Let's go, baby.
I think if
know
you
what?
flip the number one quarterback from Ohio State to Arizona State, you should 100% have the job.
Give Aguano a lifetime contract if that happens.
A lifetime
Just-
contract?
I mean, go full Michigan State with it.
So there were a lot of interesting points from that specifically, right? Because we are in October. Normally, you wouldn't have this sheer number of local recruits coming to a practice this time of year. Maybe in December, maybe in the spring, you'd get a number like this. But right now, this is in the middle of the season. And obviously, Shaun Aguano can't say too much because it would violate rules, right? But obviously,
she's still getting used to.
Yes. The media was there, and as he's walking by, the one thing that everybody heard him kind of say and take away was, "I'm a man of my word." Obviously alluding to the fact that he said, "Hey, I'm going to be recruiting local kids."
Did he just say that like unprompted?
He was just walking by the recruits. Yeah. He didn't say like
that goes crazy hard.
Um,
that goes crazy hard. He's just like, say my name. I'm a man of my word.
I'm a man of my word. But like, this is something that never happened under Herm. Right? So before we get into the rest of Aguano, because I do want to spend a lot of time today on, does he have the actual ability to build a successful program here? This is obviously something at the start of it, right? Like being able to get this many recruits to come visit your school during fall break, like that says something.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it just says a lot about his relationship probably with other coaches here. Like he just got the coaches to bring their teams or whatever. Yeah. Like, I mean, it's good, right? Like it's good. I think it's good to have that kind of presence. Like
there's nothing bad from this.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. Like, I don't know how much it does. Like, especially when, like, you have the #1 recruit in the country there's committed to Ohio State. Like, he's obviously not there because you're trying
for
to
2024.
Yeah. He's obviously not there because you're trying to get him to come to ASU.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of an optics thing. But the fact that he's even on campus, like you said, that's probably something that we wouldn't have seen before. Yeah. So it's just a sign, I think, another sign that things are just kind of changing and moving in the right direction.
I think the biggest thing for me is the following through with what you said.
Yeah.
Like it just that means the world to ASU fans because they've been lied to and burned before.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm taking away from this. Until you start seeing recruits committing, if they even can at some point, then the next step will, or the ball will start rolling a little bit more. But for right now, it's just kind of like good.
Yeah.
This is the baseline for what should be done at a collegiate university. Because, when you promise something.
Yeah. Because, I mean, think about how many big schools, like in football states, don't get their recruits. Like, Texas doesn't get the best recruits in Texas.
Yeah.
No, none of the Florida schools get the best Florida recruits.
SC used to.
Yeah, but they
might start
again, but they weren't for a while. Like, obviously, I mean, you get to smaller states, like the best players in Pennsylvania, a lot of them are going to Ohio State or other places in the Big Ten. I mean, there are guys going to Penn State, obviously, but like, when you are in a state like that and you can start like kind of planting your flag, like that gives you should already have an advantage. Yeah. So at least it looks like he's trying to get that back.
And I think one of the things that I like to talk about when I'm talking about recruiting, especially within state, is Arizona is slept on in a lot of sports. I mean, obviously hockey is a huge one. People don't think people play hockey like that out here, but they do. But another one is football. I mean, basketball is its own beast. Basketball has some pretty good recruits, but football is kind of overlooked, I feel like there are some really good programs here. Also, shout out alma mater, Desert Mountain, ranked #1 in the state right now.
Yeah.
I think they play Notre Dame #2 in the state on Friday.
Do you think that Arizona is the best when you consider all the sports, the best high school sports state in the country?
No. It's California. California and Texas.
Yeah.
By far.
And I don't,
Florida.
I was with him. I don't even think
put
it's
those
close.
three.
But I mean, so you have to like factor in hockey, which those two states don't really play.
Yeah.
You factor in like probably the best baseball state. I think this is obviously Texas and California have a significant size advantage.
Yeah.
But when you, I guess, factor
maybe
that
per
in,
capita.
There's some big motherfuckers here though too.
Per capita, not physically size advantage. I mean, they got.
I mean, I'm saying size advantage, bro. I'm talking size advantage.
Sometimes it's
just
that
one through one out the other.
Look, hey, it is what it is. Okay, don't be mad at me.
No one's mad at you.
I wasn't mad at you.
I feel like Shawn's mad.
I was more disappointed.
I'd rather you be mad at me.
What?
I'd much rather somebody be mad at me than disappointed at me.
Yeah, that's
disappointed is like
true.
It's so much deeper.
Because you expected something different.
That's what Angry is fine. You'll get over that. But disappointed is like.
That's why I think that ASU fans have a trouble between distinguishing those two. Are you mad or are you just disappointed? But I feel like a lot of people try to act like they're mad when they should really just be disappointed.
But or
no, other way around.
Yeah, you'd rather them.
I feel like a lot of people think they're disappointed when they should just be mad.
Yeah.
Because you expected this.
You should have expected this.
Yeah.
But there's no reason now to be, right? Would you like? There's no reason now after what we've seen the last 3 weeks or so. There's no reason to be disappointed or mad, right? Obviously, ASU lost to Utah. They lost to USC. But given what we've seen,
the Utah game, I was mad because they looked sorry.
Yeah. There's no coach bump.
But yeah, and there's no disappointed.
But I also think yeah.
Like there's no reason you should have expected anything better. I mean, I expected them to play a little better, I guess, in Utah. I wasn't mad or disappointed after USC. I was, if anything, I was pleasantly surprised.
LTC, like a lot of the Sun Devil community, I'm immune, he says. Good.
Well, I think, and that's one of the part going back to the recruiting stuff that is interesting to me is already it's tough for Aguano given the schedule, right? Like he's thrown in the fire. He's got to play 3 top 25 teams in his first 3 weeks. He's got Utah, USC, then Washington. Like, at what point is it unfair because it's all so elevated, right? Like the recruiting thing, yes, it's a promise, but in a normal sense, if a coach gets hired and he says, hey, I am going to recruit local kids, this is not something you're probably going to see in the first 3 weeks of his tenure because he has time.
Yeah. So you're asking if
how much of this are we seeing now because A, you think this is just who he is and this is what he wants, or B, like this is something obviously he wants, but the only reason he's doing it right this second is because he's on a accelerated timeline.
I mean, it's both. I think I feel like he came in with a sense of urgency, like I don't have any time to waste, but it's also who he is. Like I think you saw from his opening presser that he was committed to this state and recruiting from the state. And he was just like, I think once he got the job, he's like, he knows that this is his opportunity. Like he doesn't have time to wait. He has to go. So, I mean, I think if he had gotten this job in the off season without the interim tag, you'd be saying the same thing. You'd be seeing basically the same thing.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean, you might have seen it earlier in the season or something like that. I don't know, but I think, you know, like you said, he didn't have time to waste, but this is who he is regardless. Like I think he would have seen it to some extent, even if he was the full-time head coach.
I love Rodrigo's comment saying Shaun Aguano taking over the current ASU program reminds me of the guy who took over for General Custard. Wasn't that Ulysses Grant though?
Was it?
I have no idea.
I think so.
Bad with history.
Yeah, that's a era of American history that I don't know a whole lot about.
It is what it is. Do you think, Shane, with the elevated timeline now, how much of it from Ray's perspective here, talking about the recruits and the games, do you have to balance, do you think, when you're looking at, you know, potentially hiring Aguano full time?
It's hard for me to say just because I don't know what the idea was when going with Aguano. Like
Ray's expectations?
Yeah, I have no idea what his expectations are. I don't know. I don't think you leverage a lot. As Allie is calling me right now.
Yeah, she was literally just calling me. I was just about to say she just called me on the phone. We're live, Allie.
But yeah, I just don't know what he really expected from this. So I think if your expectation is to succeed this season, then I think you wait until the latter half because this isn't going to tell you much. I think Washington is a barometer for sure, though. This is the true litmus test, as I've said. Like, if you can compete, fine. Mm-hmm. If you can win, huge. But if you get embarrassed by Washington, who is a good team, but not a great team.
A ranked team. One of the top 25
I think
in the
a
nation.
little fraudulent, but ranked, yes.
I think
they're very good, but also who's not had success in Tempe in a very long time.
In a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, I think ASU can get embarrassed without by UW just because Michael Penix can be Michael Penix. If ASU gets embarrassed by UW without Michael Penix being spectacular, then that's a problem.
Yeah, that's almost unexcusable.
Yeah,
I think
that's a problem. If Michael Penix is just like, oh, last week was a fluke and I'm still a Heisman guy, then that's a different story.
Rodrigo following it up with during the Battle of Bighorn. Yeah. Okay, so
Little Bighorn.
He's basically saying that ASU is in the midst of a battle right now, and it's not going well because.
One of General Custer is a laughingstock of American history, and Ulysses S. Grant was on the $50 bill. So,
well, Ulysses S. Grant, I don't think took over during the actual battle.
What are we doing?
But
what are we talking about?
History lesson.
My point is that one of them is a joke. One of them is
less of a joke.
One of them is
he's on the money.
Yeah,
he's on the money.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's an all-time.
Why are we chanting my name?
Yeah, Pugs and Hugs in the chat saying he's our man.
He just comes in here and says things.
Maybe he meant Shaun, not me, Shaun. It's like Aguano, Shaun.
He spelled Shane twice though. I would argue
that's the only thing that made sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the only thing that makes sense to me is Underdog Fantasy. Quite literally, all you got to do, pick higher, lower. If it happens, you make money. That makes a bunch of sense to me. You guys can search in the App Store or click the link.
Of sense with a C.
There you go. There you go. Search in the App Store, click the link in the show notes, sign up with promo code PHNX, and Underdog will double your first deposit up to $100. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX. Get in on the action today. You gentlemen have a fantasy show tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys saw on Twitter, but I won 400 Beanaroonies on Underdog.
Beanaroonies.
I didn't elevate like that.
Yes, you did.
I went like this, but I didn't come up in my chair.
Your head went like that.
Okay. Beanaroonies. I'll do that.
I dislike that.
But yeah, on Underdog Fantasy.
I might have been a little.
A five pick, higher, lower. Pick 'em through 21 400. All NFL Sunday and Monday games.
Love it. And awesome. The final leg was final pick was
Cam Akers under 42.5 rushing yards, and it got scary the first drive only because he had like 10.
Yeah. Finished with 13, right?
Yeah, he finished with like 18 or something. But I done had said
he did.
He can't block. He can't pass protect. And when you can't pass protect against a really good defense, you're in trouble as a running back.
Yeah. Did you win any money on our driver?
No.
That's just because you're bad at picking, or the players are bad at playing?
It was a tough week. I lost in every facet of. I thought the Bills were gonna lose, so I would have been a big L. But lost on Underdog, lost in fantasy. It was
just rough week of football. But the Bills
lost
did end
in
up
Madden League. It was a tough, they were the one saving grace of the Bills.
But yes, we do have our fantasy show tomorrow. If you want verification as to why you should watch the show, I'm 10-2 in all three of my fantasy leagues combined. My fantasy team are collectively him.
Yeah, unfortunately, I play Shane this week in our work league.
I played David this week. His team is a wagon. Yeah, my team's a wagon too. Like we have
David's team beat me by 100. Yeah, we played
his team, but didn't his team score like over 200 points? Like that was more
like 240 points. Yeah. I could have started all my starters and my bench, and would have still lost by like 50.
I only lost in fantasy because I forgot to take Michael Thomas out. That's the only reason I lost.
It is what it is. What time is the fantasy show tomorrow?
3 p.m.
Tune in, guys. Again, that's Underdog Fantasy, promo code PHNX. Get in on the action today. Shaun, I want to go back to something that you had mentioned earlier in terms of Aguano's relationship with some of these high school coaches. Obviously, it means a lot in terms of simply getting these kids to the practices, right? Getting them to the facility. How much of it do you think also is an important standpoint of like, okay, Aguano has either worked with these coaches before or he's coached against them, like he just has a relationship with them. How far does that go in terms of getting some of these recruits to actually commit to Arizona State, you think?
I mean, it's another thing. It can't hurt, right? Like in a lot of these situations,
unless he completely whooped their ass and
yeah, but I feel like Aguano, like
I think he for that,
he has a lot of respect amongst high school football coaches in the state, and it's obviously a different situation for kids, but in a lot of situations, kids rely pretty heavily on their coach during the recruiting process. Like they're a huge voice for them. Mm-hmm. So if especially if you have an offensive guy or specifically a running back, and it's like that coach will know like this is a guy you can go to and get better at football with. So that it definitely can help, right? If you have a guy that can go to Ohio State, they're probably still going to push those guys to those marquee programs. They're not going to be like sacrifice that to stay home and play with this guy who I know. But it could be huge to at least get kids to seriously consider ASU, to know that this is a viable option.
But even without the coach, like the coach thing is huge. But from a playing perspective, like almost all of these kids grew up knowing who Chandler was and knowing how dominant they were. And because of Shaun Aguano, like that definitely holds some weight.
Is he a local Herm?
Well, hold on now.
In the sense of what we talked about when Herm was the coach at Arizona State, walking into people's living rooms of like, like the parents know who Herm Edwards is.
Herm was the local Herm then.
I'm talking like just for Arizona though.
Because Herm could walk into someone's living room in Los Angeles and they would know who he is.
Yeah, I'm talking about here, like
go to
Aguano, like you said, with everyone grew up knowing who the Chandler Wolves were and how dominant a football program that's in large part because of Aguano. Like when he goes into these living rooms and is like, hey, look what I have been able to accomplish at the high school level.
And he brings his trophies with him. See?
Okay, man. But is he almost in that sense? Like he brings that from a local perspective,
Yeah,
like people know who he is?
Yeah.
100%.
I mean, if you hire him, that's part of the reason why. If you hire him full time, it's because you know that he has a certain amount of clout in Arizona and you're making a concerted effort to recruit kids in Arizona. Now, that's not going to be enough for this program to be successful.
Exactly.
You can't get a successful program recruiting
With
only
just
in your state.
Guys. No.
This isn't Texas. Like Texas, Miami might be able to get away with that, but this is not that.
But even when that is their main priority, like they still go out and get.
No, yeah, 100%. But I'm saying like those teams might be able to get away with it if they were only recruiting in state.
Keep their head above water.
ASU could not.
No,
especially when you have U of A down the street, who's also doing a pretty damn good job recruiting in state as well. So like,
go get somebody from Oro Valley.
You need
piss Jed Fish off.
You do need more than that, and that's where like if he does get the full-time job, his hires, his assistants could come in to play. But he's going to need a little more than that. But it is a huge first step because I feel like you have to, again, not to bring them up again, but you look at schools like Texas, like Miami, or any of the Florida schools really, like part of the reason they struggle so much recently is because they haven't been able to recruit in state.
Yeah.
You can't recruit in state, you're going to struggle to recruit outside of state as well. So it's a good starting spot, but he's going to need more.
Pipeline recruiting, whether it's if it's in Arizona or they've had success in California too, that's your foundation.
Yeah.
You need to go get the X factor somewhere else.
Yes.
Or you can get the X factor in state, but those are few and far between, and oftentimes they go to Ohio State. You need to go get the X factor, the 4-star recruit that's being overlooked by the Buckeyes that lives in Ohio. You need to go grab him.
And
make sure his name's not Paul Tyson.
Hard to find. The last X factor, I think.
Just catching strays. I'm sorry.
The last X factors that I would argue that came from Arizona, like local products, would be N'Keal Harry and Chase Lucas.
Yeah.
Both of which went to Chandler High School.
Yeah.
Oh, you're from Arizona that stayed at ASU.
That stayed here.
Isn't Isaiah Glass also?
I wouldn't put him necessarily on the same wavelength as N'Keal.
Yeah, well, it's hard to be an X factor if you're not on a skill position guy.
Yeah, but there's also a part in it, right, where like, and maybe it would have been different if Aguano was the coach at the time. But you also have to look at some of the recruits where Arizona State, I feel like, has struggled consistently. Like, there have been guys that have gone to Arizona high schools that have been top tier talent. Right. Mm-hmm. We talk about Keely Ringo, who is a projected first-round pick. Mm-hmm. Was at Saguaro just a couple years ago. Talk about Denzel Burke, who's a starting cornerback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. He also went to Ohio State. Like, why can't Arizona State get these guys? They're local kids. Is that on Herm? Is that on the program? Is that on a mix of the two?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's on a mix of the two for sure. But it was mostly on Herm these last couple of years. Like, they recruited okay in state. Probably 10 years ago was the best at it. Obviously in the mid or early 2000s, Zach Miller, Terrell Suggs, like those type of guys. Also shout out DJ Foster. He grew up right down the street from me.
He was also in a local X Factor.
He was unbelievable at ASU. Yeah, I don't know. You have to have a pride in doing so. You have to want to, and Shaun Aguano clearly wants to. But I also just feel like it's what's happened with the program and ASU athletics in general, like, just got this rainy cloud above it.
Yeah.
Even before the investigation, just always kind of last 10 years. It's just.
But is that the fans like making this rainy cloud, or is it like
the school made it themselves?
I mean, it's like any weather phenomenon. It's a mixture of very specific.
Unless there's a weather machine.
That is true.
Michael Crow
did have a weather machine. There was a weatherman back home who had like a little weather machine that he would, like, schools would compete and he would bring it to whatever school won and he would do all this weather stuff.
Wait, what's a weather machine?
Work? Like,
yeah,
well?
I mean, he wasn't changing like the weather in the entirety of Western New York, but I mean, it was like,
that'd be pretty crazy if you could do that.
It would be random things that he would like teach you.
Like,
about
could he
weather
make it rain in like the size of a football field?
No, not that crazy. It was like it was something that we had.
That
an
would definitely be
stage.
like,
what do weather machines
that
do?
Shit would be. He would have been kidnapped.
You would have heard about that.
What does a weather machine do?
The U.S. government would have shut that down real quick.
What do weather machines do?
I don't remember exactly. It was when I was a kid, but it was something. They had it on stage at an auditorium. Like, it wasn't anything crazy.
I don't know the point of it. Like, if it's a weather machine,
it was to teach kids. It
teach
was
kids what though?
About weather. Like,
so a PowerPoint.
No, it was like experiments and stuff. But like he had a machine.
But it doesn't actually change the weather.
I don't remember.
Listen, man, you're the one that brought up the weather machine.
It was a decade ago. I was just mentioning it in passing. It was a reference.
From my understanding, a weather machine can make it rain in a very small area. Like it can.
Was not that. You ever get in one of those hurricane machines at a mall though?
No.
Oh yeah, dude.
Those things go hard.
That just unlocked a part of my. That's crazy.
Someone brought that up the other day and unlocked it for me. Those things go crazy.
Richard Martinez in the chat said, felt like there was a dedication to watching and recruiting California these past couple of years versus getting local talent to stay home. Yeah, it felt like Herm was enamored with like other places' talent.
It seemed
like it wasn't good enough for him.
It was a little bit of taking
SoCal.
Yeah, it was a little bit of taking ASU or Arizona for granted. Like, we're in Arizona. We shouldn't have that much of a hard time recruiting Arizona kids. But like, and I mean, I understand it, right? Like, especially with USC and UCLA not being what they could have been, like them being down programs the last however many years, like that's a pretty big opportunity. So I understand that process, but again, like we were saying, you need that foundation of recruiting at home first before something like that can be successful.
Yeah, it felt like Herm never, when he was here, never necessarily built that foundation recruiting wise. And I think we've seen that kind of evolve with the transfer portal. And that's something that I feel like is going to be interesting to see if Aguano does get the full-time job, how he's able to kind of work the two in tandem, because I'm not sure how much it is going to hinder guys that have a year left of, eligibility for them to want to come play for a guy that A, doesn't necessarily have a ton of head coaching experience, especially at the collegiate level, but B, I feel like this is very clearly from the outside looking in, this is a project.
Yeah.
That like this isn't a win now team, this isn't a win now program. So it's going to be interesting to see, because that's something that Ray brought up when, they had announced that Aguano was going to be the interim coach, was we need a coach that is going to be with the times. NIL, transfer portal, etc. Okay, well, how do you convince NIL guys or transfer portal guys to come here when it very clearly it's not a win now situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ultimate question.
Yeah,
right? Like,
you really have to drive home. Do you want to be a part of something special? Do you want to be a part of the rebuild? Which is really hard to ask.
Yeah, like you have to convince kids that like,
but you have to believe it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's something where like they are kids, but they're not stupid, and their parents aren't stupid either, and they're also not kids. Like they'll be able to tell if you're not being sincere about something for the most part. And again, that's why Jed Fish has been so successful. It's like you have to convince people that like, no, we haven't been good, but you can be the reason why. Like you can become a legend for that reason. Which like that appeals to certain people. It wouldn't to others. And that's ultimately part of the job of recruiting, is you got to find people that will fit into your program and where your program is and what your program is trying to achieve.
Yeah. You know what didn't take very much convincing was getting people to sign up for the hockey.
It took literally no convincing.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, we're sold out. Or not really unfortunately.
Unfortunate for you if you didn't get one.
That's true. But there's going to be plenty more events.
Be a member.
Plenty more Four Peaks events with us, with literally all of our partners, but specifically that hockey event. Shaun, what are you looking forward to most?
All of it. I don't know.
The taco
bar is up there for sure.
Four Peaks is going to go hard.
The beer for sure. The
hockey
game,
of the game
for sure. The 100%. Arena for
100%.
sure. The post game show for sure.
Special guest on the post game show.
Special guest for sure. The multitude of mullets that will be there for sure.
The multitude of mullets.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah, that's what the post game show is going to be called.
When Shaun's not stumbling over his words, he's a fantastic speaker.
That was the nicest way to
it was backhanded for sure, but
yeah. That was like the nicest.
It's also true.
Here you go.
Well,
it's also the truth. So
the only reason why I say this is, one, because I do this as well, but two, because we literally talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, we did talk about this yesterday.
No, I mean, it is what it is. I have it sometimes. Sometimes I don't. It gets away from me. I'm like Danny Dimes on that one where he was like, he had like that 70-yard rush and then he tripped at the end. Sometimes he can break out a 70-yard rush, but then he might trip at the end.
Shaun only has it some of the times. Four Peaks has it all the time, guys. Definitely stay tuned for more Four Peaks events. And remember, if you guys are going to be going to some of these events or just going to Four Peaks to drink in general, you do got to be 21 or older and enjoy responsibly.
33 days till ASU basketball. That is crazy.
That's just creeping up. We're going to be in the trenches for a second.
Well,
Between
in the
hockey,
best kind of
football, and
not
basketball.
Not these gross mud trenches, like built out.
Like a good trench.
Bunker
Is there a
trenches.
good
Like
trenches?
an irrigation
Yeah.
trench.
Is
Yeah.
there?
Like
Well,
a
I know
trench.
you can have a well-built trench, but does anyone like,
It doesn't have to be a trench for war.
It's
what
like
else
a
are
trench,
trenches for?
like an irrigation trench.
But is that like
canal.
The Mariana
irrigation?
Trench.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's deep and dark, which I guess this could end up becoming.
Well,
this is
but
ASU
well, we
sports.
could just be floating on top.
That terrifies me.
That
too.
does terrify me too.
Floating on top of a
Big
trench?
sea creature.
It's like, I mean, technically a trench
Stop.
is.
Why did all large sea creatures make that noise, though?
Well, we don't know if any of them
It's
Perspective.
kind of like it's like
Perspective, large sea
dinosaurs
creatures.
roaring. Like we don't know what they sounded
actually.
like.
What if they all sounded like monkeys?
That's a
That would be
T-Rex.
crazy. Would you be more scared
Oh, yeah.
if you were in the
Could
ocean
Yes.
and you heard or
you just get transported back to prehistoric times and you hear. I'm like, you turn around.
Is that a T-Rex? All of a sudden he opens his mouth and goes, "Oh God!" Or, no,
they spoke English.
He goes like this. Oh,
That would be the most terrifying. That right there would 100% be the most terrifying. LTC in the chat saying Coach Hurley has been fasting for
no, he's been
months.
eating good for months. He's been
He's getting
preparing
ready
for
to fast.
hibernation.
He's
Yeah.
getting ready to fast
Getting
100%.
a lot of 4-piece chicken tendies.
Oof.
Hypothetically, potentially.
He
Gonna
definitely
confirm
is.
or deny.
He definitely is. Getting
It's
back
just bad
to
journalism there, Toe Train.
Arizona's. Huh?
That's just bad journalism there.
Okay. Hey, we're talking about fucking chicken
You have no
tenders. here,
sources.
Shaun.
Hey,
We're talking about chicken
you just
tenders.
use the F word.
We should get a jar.
I was just about to say we need one.
I think
I also
I
Shaun.
think that was the first one of the show.
Yeah. And we're
No,
30 minutes in.
I said I gave some of the double birds and to someone at the beginning of the show.
Damn,
Lindsay.
You don't even remember who. Oh yeah,
It was
Lindsay.
definitely Lindsay.
No, I don't think it was.
Wow, that's crazy. Then
The
I think you
viewer?
just flipped off a ghost.
No. It was
A
something
Oh,
like
the
it
ghost he
was
doesn't believe in.
I think it was like
Flipped
an inanimate object of some sort. I don't remember what we were
Just
talking
start
about.
flipping
We'll
the
go
bird
back
to
and review the
objects,
tape. We'll
dude.
review the tape.
Throw the challenge flag.
We never review the tape, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude.
Yeah, we're just like
we review
we're
the
just
tape
like
every day.
like referees at an NFL games and they go in that little thing. They're just watching.
We're just
Yeah,
watching them play over
SpongeBob.
again.
Yeah, they're just
that's
watching
crazy.
cartoons.
Absolutely crazy.
Narnia. Have you guys seen Narnia in a
No,
while?
No.
I've never seen it.
What?
We've had
Actually,
this
that's not
conversation. We've had this
surprising.
conversation before.
That's a phenomenal movie.
I believe it.
I want Turkish Delight so bad. You know the princess has the queen.
Turkish Delight.
Do you actually want it? Like, have you
What is
had
Turkish
Turkish
delight?
delight?
No, I want the one from the movie.
I don't know what
Okay,
we're
because
talking
I've
about,
seen like this
to be honest.
TikTok where
Narnia?
they make it look better than
Well,
it
yeah, it's not
actually is,
good.
and it's
I know
actually
that,
gross.
but like the one in the movie, it's
no
like
offense to the Turkish people or the
Well,
Turkish
Turks.
delights.
Charles in the chat saying he's never seen Narnia
What?
either. What
Have
are we
you guys
doing,
read it?
What are we doing?
If I haven't seen a movie, you think am I
Yeah,
David?
that's
Like, what are we doing?
crazy. Ew.
This is a disrespect. I'm just not a
It
Redditor.
is a disrespect.
How is it a disrespect to know
iconic.
David to read?
Ew, dude, this looks so
Let me
gross.
see. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. Hey,
Wait, what is
We
it?
got to get a jar. 100%. We got to get a
You
jar.
would be the one putting the most money in the jar.
Not
when
if I-
you go
no,
on a
no, no,
rant,
no.
you are
Because
putting a
the
month's
thing
worth
is
of
at
money.
that point it become a competition. I don't think I would swear again. It would slip out a
Ever?
couple times. It would slip out a couple times, especially if they lose to
so this is
Eastern
what it looks
Michigan.
like in the movie,
Stop. Yeah, in the movie it looks bomb.
and then this is what it actually is.
That looks disgusting. Total offense. That looks horrible. Looks way better in the movie, guys. So I don't know what we're doing with the real Turkish Delight.
What's the goat's name? Goat man's name?
What do we?
Double birds to somebody at the beginning of the show. I just don't know who it
Okay,
is.
dude. Okay. Getting back to
Yeah.
ASU football and Shaun Aguano for
Oh,
a
yeah.
second here. Exactly. What we've seen the last two games. Obviously, it is a small pool of what we are going to see for the remainder of the season. And again, it's tough to judge because he just coached against Utah and USC, the two best teams in the conference by a mile. However,
Mr. Tumnus.
Mr. Tumnus. Okay. He's talking about. There we go.
The goat in Narnia.
The
Thank you.
timing on
Rach literally always on point.
Mr. Tumnus.
We
How
have
much?
an incredibly intelligent chat.
We have a very yes. Going back to these two games and the sample size that Ray has seen from this coaching staff under Aguano, we've talked about recruiting, and I feel like we've gotten a good sense of what recruiting long term would be like with Aguano. It would be very intense. It would be very aggressive in terms of coaching now and on the field stuff. I know you're going to say, well, I need to see what he's going to do against Washington or what he's going to do against some of the bad teams in the conference. But what we've seen from these two games, is it promising enough to feel like he's going to maybe get a shot? Like, do you like what you've seen so far?
Shaun, go ahead.
And I don't want you to compare it to Herm.
No,
in and of itself.
I kind of have to for this reason. Yes, because he made adjustments. Like, you saw that there was a clear plan in the game against Utah, and it did not work. They came out in USC, and it was a different game plan that was effective. Now I need to see them make those adjustments in game, because they did not do that against USC.
Exactly, and you need to make adjustments to adjustments.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Like, you need to make those halftime adjustments. So if he can make that next step against Washington, if they need to, of course.
Putting Aguano's 2-game tenure in a vacuum, it's very hard from what happened because of Herm and how weird it was. But just from a pure football perspective, they looked like a better team.
Yeah.
After Utah. So you want to see improvement every single week. We saw that. Yeah. Now, do you continue to improve, or do you fall flat on your face? We'll see.
Yeah, because I mean, realistically, like I mentioned this before, but like ASU has the hardest schedule in the conference, or has had the hardest schedule in the conference so far.
Only 3 teams in the entire nation have played 3 top 25 teams.
Yeah.
Wow,
and
that's crazy.
You have a new head coach who played 2 of them in his first 2 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, Utah just did what they did to ASU, to Oregon State, who we thought was one of the best teams in the conference. Like, and then they played well against USC, who's supposed to be the best team in the conference. Like, we still have to see them play against teams of their own, like their level. Like, I think ASU is going to blow some teams out in this conference. Like, once they play teams that are a little more on their level,
Stanford, Colorado,
U of A.
You're on at this point train now.
Do you really think that, like, and I know we're gonna talk about our power rankings, they'll be on YouTube later, but like, I don't think that Cal is really a better team than ASU when they're playing their best.
No, I don't either.
No, but this is what's happening right now. This is all we know right now.
No, but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
but when they're playing their best, ASU, when they're playing their best, is in the middle of this conference.
Yeah, and so we've been hard on ASU because of the Eastern Michigan loss, and really that's it. Because
but so
otherwise,
is the entire country, as it should be.
No, they 100% deserve to be hard on, but like,
but I think, I agree with what you're saying, because I think a lot of people, including some viewers and sometimes just the fan base and even us sometimes, look at that and think they can't go anywhere else.
Yeah,
there's no potential. They just close it off. It's over now. You lost to Eastern Michigan. When in reality, like this can change, and we've seen change. We just need to see consistent, exponential growth throughout the rest of the season.
And like, it's I'm not trying to excuse the Eastern Michigan loss. It's a really bad loss, but it's still like that kind of stuff happens sometimes in college football, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the team is bad. ASU is not a good team necessarily, but they're not as bad of a team as they were in that game.
And we're about to see a comparison with U of A. Look, they've been good. Jacob Cowing is a top 5 receiver in the nation. We know this.
They've also had the pleasure of playing who they've had.
Exactly.
Yes.
And as LTC says in the chat, their next 5 games? They have at home against Oregon this week.
Loss.
Oof. At Washington next week.
Loss.
At home against USC the week after. At Utah next week. Man. And then at UCLA.
Loss. Loss.
All ranked
I can
teams.
see that also, though. I could also see UCLA being a bad UCLA.
I mean, it is UCLA.
UCLA will not be ranked by that time. No way. There's no
what is UCLA's schedule? We don't have to talk about it, but I'm curious. But I mean, ASU is better than what I think they have been so far.
Who's at Utah this weekend?
UCLA is at Utah, or at home against Utah this weekend, and then at Oregon.
Dude, if UCLA somehow beats Utah, I'm going to lose my shit
it right now. I think we've seen that Utah and USC are far superior than the 3rd best team in this conference, whoever that is.
I agree.
Oregon.
Yeah, Oregon's the 3rd best team in this conference at this point.
But for the last 3 weeks, it's been either Oregon or it's been Washington, and then at least for Shaun and I, not for Shane, but Oregon State was up there for a quick second. Like, the last couple of weeks, I think it's been the reason that the shuffle has kind of gone the way it has over the course of the last 3 weeks is because there is no clear-cut number 3.
And there's weird
I really hope USC wins out.
Like, I hope USC wins out?
Yeah, they're the only chance this conference has at a playoff team now.
Same.
I think it'd be very interesting to see USC compete against some of these.
I know. I think Caleb Williams can have a performance where at least one of those games is close.
No, I think if USC plays Georgia, if USC plays, I'm talking college football playoff.
Yeah.
If they play Georgia, they lose by 40.
Yeah, but I'm talking 2 and 3. If they get the 3 seeds.
I don't know if
If they get a Michigan somehow,
Yeah.
they beat Michigan, I think.
Whoa. Jesus.
I don't.
Or they can beat Michigan. I don't want to say I think they beat Michigan.
I think they can compete with Georgia.
No, that defense, their USC's defense is not good enough.
I think size.
Missouri almost beat Georgia last week.
Okay, but outlier. Okay, whatever.
Okay, Alabama then.
So yeah, size wise maybe not, but I'm saying Caleb Williams it has the potential to put on a performance where you can beat damn near everybody.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it's
that's
going to
true.
be interesting.
Damn near.
If you're
Excusing Georgia?
if you're a top 5 quarterback in college football, then that sentence is 100% true.
Especially when you have pieces that are competent around you.
He hasn't played anybody.
Okay, but I'm saying, but we've seen the potential to take over games, have we not?
Even at Oklahoma, like
Yeah, but he hasn't played a defense.
Okay, but that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's proven anything. I'm saying he can do that. We've
he's
seen
just
him
simply
take
saying he's
over
got
games.
potential.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah,
Chris speaking my language right now in the chat saying ASU, in my opinion, has a real chance to pick up 4 to 5 more wins the rest of the season if we keep trending in the right direction. But that's me being optimistic. Brother, you and me both, because I got a futures bet.
Yeah, I was about to say the reason you be hammering that 4 and 5 win marker is probably because you've got a futures bet out there.
5.5. Oh boy.
It's not looking promising.
It's not looking terrible.
I mean, it is because
it is.
the Eastern Michigan was a gimme.
Yeah, but you beat Washington, things are right back on track.
Yeah, no, you beat Washington and you are right back in it. But look, if you're expecting to lose money on your futures bet because of ASU, it's totally okay because you can win some money on some NFL football on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. New customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win and get $200 in free bets if they do. And if that's not enough, everybody can boost their winnings with DraftKings stepped up same game parlays. Right now, for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100% with payouts bigger than ever. Why bet on football anywhere else? And to make things even sweeter, you can throw down on stepped up same game parlays once per game day all season long. It's simple. Download DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code PHNX. That's promo code PHNX on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for more details.
Fellas, week 7. That's the future of the Pac-12, or that's the
Pac-12.
Utah, USC.
Yeah, Utah's winning that game.
Utah's winning that game?
Unfortunately. They're at home.
Yeah, I mean, that one's... I don't think USC's that good. They're good.
I don't know why
I don't think
they're
that.
Yeah, Shaun's been on this train, and
Utah,
I completely get that. I'm not saying that you're wrong by any means. I just think that talent-wise, they are the top 2 teams, and it's not close.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. No. In the conference for sure. But I think Utah is...
But I think Utah has flaws that that a lot of people haven't seen yet. I think that the loss of Keithy, the loss of Keithy, their number 1 tight end, Dalton Kincaid's very good. That's going to expose some things. Their offense, if you shut down a couple options, if you shut down their short game, they're in trouble. They haven't been able to run the ball well. Tavion Thomas, obviously, very good, but they have to win with their defense. And if USC can put up points, I know their defense isn't great. If they can put up points, I don't think Utah can compete. But it's at Utah. I think Utah still wins.
And I think I don't think Utah's going to struggle to put up points against that team. ASU has not put up points on anybody really, and they put up 25.
I know,
on USC.
but weird things happen when 2 big teams play each other.
Yeah, I mean, I think that game's probably going to be a banger. I think it's going to be like a 45-39 game, something crazy like that.
We deserve it.
No, we could talk about this more on our Pac-12 Power Rankings, which we will. Again, Shaun alluded to it. It's going to be on YouTube later today, so definitely go check that out. Final point, though, on Aguano, and again, I think we're all on an understanding that it is early in his quote-unquote tenure here, or audition, whatever you want to call it. Do we think from what we've seen, recruiting, coaching, media-wise, because I feel like that goes into it too, like I feel like he's won over the media a little bit, and maybe that's because Herm was so different than maybe Aguano is in the sense of like Shaun is going to be authentic, he's going to be real, and he's going to tell you immediately like, yes, this is our fault, we need to change something. Herm was a little bit less on that train. Do we think that Aguano at this point in time will be given a chance at the end of the season?
Not now. No, you can't. No, no. It's too early, man. Like he's played 2 games against 2 really good teams. I abstain.
Yeah, it's a tough question to ask. I don't think you can give a real answer right now. If I had to bet on it, I'll say yes. I think he ultimately will.
If you had to bet on it, you'd say yes.
if you're making me choose, I think I ultimately would say yes. I just
interesting.
Yeah, I think that just the Arizona thing. If you can get people to start really committing to this and believing in it, then it's going to be hard to pass that up. Again, all depends on who's the other option. Like if you, I think that ultimately decides his fate. If you can get someone crazy, then you have to go with someone crazy. But if it's between someone comparable, like you're going to stick with Aguano. So.
Just because of the local factor.
And he's just here. Like, and he's I don't want to say he deserves it, but I mean, he's been with the program for a few years. Like, I don't know. But yeah, like, you can't really answer that question right now. Like, if you're going off of what you see in the last 2 games, he hasn't done anything to deserve the job. He lost 2 games.
Yeah. LTC in the chat. Do you think Raymond is hoping for Aguano to fail behind closed doors? First off, I love the fact that you refer to him as Raymond.
That is an interesting question, though.
I don't see why he'd want him to fail.
But I mean, like, it's
I think
it's a tough predicament because if Aguano goes crazy, then you have to keep him.
Yeah, but I think if anything, he wants him to go crazy because then he doesn't have to put his neck out to make another hire.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think hell no. I think he really wants Aguano to succeed.
Yeah.
But I think he will make the right decision. I don't think that's going to skew him.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a choice at this point. Like he has to hit on this next football coach or he's done.
Yeah, I think the worst thing that could happen for Ray is that ASU like beats Washington and loses to U of A. And then it's like, what do you do there?
I don't think beating Washington does anything.
Well, but I'm saying, not specifically that necessarily, but I mean, losing to U of A is probably the wrong example there.
Losing to Colorado.
No, that's you can't get the job.
I'm saying, I think what you mean is like they beat Washington, win their next 3 games, then they lose to.
It really is if you have one win that's like, oh my god, and then if you also have a loss that's like, oh my god, what do you do in that situation?
If he goes 500. If he finds a way to go 500,
including the last 2 games,
I think the win and loss doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but I think it's more of what he does with the team and how they look on and off the field, and what he does with recruiting. Anything else, it doesn't really matter unless you're extreme in one direction.
Yeah, if you lose to U of A or Colorado, that probably hurts his chances pretty significantly. Otherwise,
if you find a way to go 500 in the middle of the season with no head coaching experience at the collegiate level
overall,
yes.
Oh, yeah, that's crazy.
No, I'm not.
In
I'm
conference,
saying,
basically,
from Aguano's start, the Utah game, to the end of the season, for Aguano to simply go 500.
That's crazy.
Why is that not crazy? How is that not? This guy has had no head coaching experience at the Division I level or at this collegiate level. Jumps in the middle of the season, has 3 top 25 opponents right off the rip, and finds a way to go 500 in a team that's built off half of its young players and the other half is transfers.
When you put it like that,
I mean, that's just me. That's just me. Everyone's got their own opinion. We'll see what happens. It's going to be really interesting.
Look at who they have to play. Like
it's not.
He's already 2 games behind. The only things that I think you can guarantee or not guarantee. I think guarantee anything.
I think the only thing you can at least pencil in as a half W right now is Colorado.
That should be a full-blown permanent marker W. The only other teams that if they should be favorites in my mind are Stanford and U of A.
They probably will. That Stanford game, it's at Stanford, right? Or is it at ASU?
At Stanford, yeah.
That'll be a pick 'em. I feel like.
I don't think they'll be favored.
I think.
But I'm not necessarily on betting lines. In my mind, who I think is a better team, I think Arizona State's better than Stanford. I think they're obviously better than Colorado. And I think they're better than U of A. Outside of that, they've already lost 2 games. On paper, they should lose to Washington. They should lose to UCLA. They should lose to Washington State. They should lose to Oregon State. So if he manages to go 500, that is something to write home about. You have to win some big games in order for that to happen. I think that's a pretty significant improvement.
Look, if ASU finds a way to win and go 500 at some point through Aguano's tenure, it's probably because Daniel Ngata found the end zone at least a couple of times. And when Daniel Ngata finds the end zone, our friends at Burrito Express are going to give you guys $4 burritos the next day.
Found some pretty significant news.
Okay.
Jacob is moving right near a Burrito Express location.
Wow.
Yes.
Where are there other locations? I know they've got obviously the one in Tempe that we go to.
Let me look it up for you.
Scottsdale.
There's one off of Hayden, Scottsdale.
Let me look it up for you. I'll give you all of the locations.
Let's hear it, man.
They have a lot in the East Valley.
BurritoExpress.com.
East Valley.
Shout out U of A or U of A. Jesus, OSU.
Wow, you've been fired.
Yeah, I know. I would deserve that. Tempe, Scottsdale, Gilbert and Ray, Gilbert, Highland and Baseline, Mesa, and Chandler.
Okay. Yeah, definitely go to Burrito Express, guys. Look, we've gone there. I've had a burrito from there 2 of the last 4 days. It's incredible every single day. It's incredible. definitely go. And again, be rooting for Daniel Ngata to find the end zone because those $4 burritos are going to smack even harder. Pugs and hugs, no. The answer is no. Chris
no.
in the chat saying, I think having UCLA and OSU at home is massive. 100%. Yeah. If those are road games, they 100% lose those.
I think OSU is looking better and better as a W.
That's
you guys just have a love affair with Oregon State, man.
That defense is good. Their quarterback is not. Like, I forget his name.
We've had this conversation. I think you guys think that
if that game is in Corvallis, they lose it.
Yeah,
sure.
But I just think you guys think they have no chance.
I don't think
ASU?
they have no chance.
Yeah.
I think the only teams they have no chance against are Utah. And,
Hugs and hugs.
I think the only teams they have no chance against are Utah and UCLA or USC. Otherwise, any other team in the conference is far too inconsistent for me to think that ASU has no chance.
We got Michael in the chat confirming as a neutral third party. Burrito Express is stupid flame.
Love it.
This show is stupid flame.
Truly.
Michael, you're stupid flame.
Okay. Now he's smart flame. Not stupid flame. Let's get into Zach Wilson for a second.
Yeah,
okay,
I'm really confused.
We don't know what's coming, so I just want a disclaimer. If anything out of pocket comes out of Totri's mouth, it's fully on Totri.
Of
Shane
course,
and
it's
I
on
have
me.
no prior knowledge of what's going to happen, and I've already threatened to walk off the set if this is on. If this
These
is out of
guys
pocket.
get so defensive, and they don't
It's
even
not
know what's
defensive, it's
defensive.
worried. It's
what are
worried.
you worried about?
You being out of pocket.
When have I ever been out of pocket?
Juneteenth?
That wasn't out of pocket.
Do we need to review the film from our last show at Four Peaks? Do we remember anything out of pocket that you said then? Because I do.
In my
He literally
personal
probably
defense,
doesn't remember.
No, I remember.
Okay.
You're mean, man.
In his defense, they
also-
put it on screen. He read it. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I thought that was fine.
It wasn't, but it's okay.
Blaine asking about Christ as the head coach. No. No, there will be no Big Ten coaches at ASU.
God.
Yeah, so Zach Wilson. So, if you have scoured the internet at all in the last 48 hours and you are somewhat of a sports fan, you've seen that allegedly Tom Brady and his wife Giselle are going to be getting a divorce. Okay?
They've hired divorce.
Which means they're going to be getting a divorce.
Just being a good journo over here.
Okay, man. We're talking about Zach Wilson and this shit. So people had put out on Twitter specifically that Zach Wilson had posted something saying, don't worry, Giselle, I got you. After like that news came out, right? Super funny. Wasn't real. And there were other things on Instagram where like Giselle had liked some of Zach Wilson's photos, whatever. We know that Zach Wilson allegedly likes cougars, right? This is, again, not out of pocket. This is just from...
As a good journo, Giselle never liked the Zach Wilson picture.
Yes. That is also not true. However, I am curious, right? These are celebrities, okay? You guys are acting like I'm about to say something that's going to get us canceled.
The lead up is just...
Yeah, the lead up's insane.
It's nothing crazy,
You sound
guys.
like you're afraid to ask what you're
I'm just curious, right? You know, maybe there's a world out there where Zach Wilson, you know, he's got a crush on Giselle, whatever. She's a celebrity. So I'm just curious as to what your guys' celebrity crushes are. Nothing crazy, man. Nothing crazy. You're
just trying to get us in trouble.
How is this getting you in trouble, man?
Yeah, I mean, just the
because you're the only single man on the show, Coach. That's why.
I've been clear about this though.
Give me 3.
Okay.
Whoa.
Halle Berry forever. I've talked about this with my girlfriend. She knows. Halle Berry forever. Then Zendaya, obviously.
Okay.
Yeah, Zendaya's on mine for sure.
When I was younger, I had a big thing for Amanda Seyfried.
Wow.
be
Okay.
honest.
Amanda Seyfried. Why I don't know.
Mamma Mia.
I haven't seen the movie.
The Megan Fox movie, Jennifer's Body.
What's her name?
Amanda.
I typed in Adam.
SEY.
I'm trying to think.
Oh, I got you.
I don't know.
You have touched my hand twice.
my hand
earlier, man. Damn it.
Who's your celebrity crush?
Stop it.
Yeah,
You know I'm on
yours?
TV.
Who's yours?
Hugs
you
and
go.
hugs. I'm not putting that on the screen because it's wrong.
That's a tragic take.
That's a
That's
horrible take.
terrible.
Her taste in men is bad, but
Yeah.
You're up.
Zendaya is definitely one of them.
Okay.
I'm not out here crushing
Florence.
Appreciate you, Pug.
Florence.
Oh, Florence Pugh? Yes.
like that. Yeah, Florence Pugh. Yep, massive W.
Oh, thank you, Pug.
Ana de Armas.
Oh,
Yeah, oh my
yes.
God.
Amazing.
Duh. I heard Blonde was terrible, though.
Yeah.
Terrible. But Knives Out is one of my favorite movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are probably my three.
She's also in the newest James Bond.
She was also in what's that Netflix movie? It was okay.
The one where
I do love
they
it.
have like an open relationship.
No,
or is that the Hulu
It's
movie?
the two. It's like Ryan Reynolds or somebody, and they're two.
Oh yeah, they're like
spies.
spies. Yeah. Not a
she's
great
in that.
movie though, but she's in it.
It was okay.
It was all right.
It was mind fodder. It was entertaining.
Vanessa Hudgens.
What?
Vanessa Hudgens.
Yeah.
What?
What do you mean? Yeah.
There's hesitation there?
Well, yeah. I don't know.
What don't you know?
There's a couple of guys I had on this list that I can't think of at the top of my head. Like there are some
sexy dudes out there.
Sexy dudes out there for sure. And I'm trying to think. There's like the classics, right? Like you got your George Clooney's and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
George Clooney. Yeah.
More than Vanessa Hudgens?
Young Clooney.
Yeah.
That shit.
Okay, dude.
My guy went crazy.
Yeah. Stupid.
Stupid flame.
Stupid with the hair. Stupid flame. Who's yours, Totri?
You guys give great answers. I'd got to go De Armas.
Yeah,
that's a phenomenal one. Vanessa Hudgens, Ariana Grande.
Now you're men.
I had a Grande phase.
I'm still in that phase.
Younger.
Selena Gomez growing up.
I have an anti crush on a man.
Oh, so
MGK.
You dislike MGK?
Awful. One of the worst actors ever.
Ruined my crush on Megan Fox.
Probably some of the worst music that's been put out in the past 10 years. Just like genuinely, just go look up MGK lyrics. You will want to rip your ears off, even if you're just reading them. Oh my God, I hate him. Sorry,
I'm trying to think if there's anyone else that I'm like, damn. I mean, J-Lo.
Yeah.
J-Lo and Shakira, 100%. Those are my
another man crush.
Shaun
Aguano.
True.
Great hair.
Okay. Well,
Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. Okay. Yeah. Ryan Reynolds. That's I feel like an obvious answer.
Ryan Reynolds he's too cute for me. He's always playing the weird, quirky, dumb guy in movies.
Oh, crazy hot dude, Michael B. Jordan.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Duh.
Yeah.
Duh.
There you go.
I did.
And Halle Berry. You said Halle Berry.
Yeah, Halle Berry's
I gotta
number will always be
specify.
at the top of my list.
Halle Berry. Insane. Absolutely insane.
All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, but before we get out of here, got to tell you guys about Game Time. Look, if you're trying to go to an ASU football game, say maybe this weekend at 1 o'clock against Washington, the right place to get your tickets is Game Time. You guys can save up to 60% on tickets when you buy tickets last minute. It's great for you procrastinators out there, and the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. Guys, go check it out. We appreciate everybody.
You can also get tickets for the Jake Paul fight on Game Time.
Yeah,
That's
you
this
can get
weekend?
tickets
No.
potentially for another man crush that I can't believe I forgot, and Leo will appreciate this. Harry Styles, sex symbol.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, on that note, we appreciate you guys.
Another
Yes.
anti-crush, Timothy Chalamet. I hate that kid.
What?
Most overrated motherfucker on the planet.
Wait, how? In what regard? He's
He
a
looks like a
fantastic
12-year-old boy.
actor.
No, as physically.
Oh,
Like,
you just don't think he's
He's
sexy?
physically over it.
Yeah, he looks like a little boy. He damn near looks like.
Yeah, I definitely
Rico
don't
from Hannah
understand
Montana.
that side of it, but I think he's phenomenal in every role he's
Yeah,
played.
that's fine. I don't care about that though. That's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I know. I'm talking. My anti-crush is more just because I hate that guy.
Fair.
Okay.
$50 each on Game Time right now for Jake Paul Anderson Silva tickets.
That's actually
October
amazing.
29th.
You guys want to go?
Bad Bunny. Duh.
I'm going, obviously.
Dude, I would risk it all for Bad Bunny.
Yeah, Bad Bunny.
Okay. Thanks
Another sex
again
symbol.
for listening or watching live, guys. If you enjoyed the content, you can give us a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils on Twitter. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow Shane at Shane Deef, and you can follow Shaun DePaz at Shaun_DePaz.
Crushing on Halle Berry as always.
There you go. We will be giving you guys an audio episode tomorrow. Thursday. It should be out by the end of the day, so look forward to that. We'll be giving a little bit of a preview on Washington ahead of Saturday's game, but for now, enjoy the rest of your hump day. Peace.